Hey guys, as you can see from the title, I'm sharpening something I've never sharpened before. This is a Manix XL, I believe. Yeah, Manix XL, but it's in BD1 steel. And I've never sharpened BD1, but the first things first, I gotta cut a sharpening notch in this, as requested by the customer. Let me move some stuff around. There's no one on here yet, so we'll see how this goes. But, let's see. Figure this will give me time to get everything set up. I don't know if you guys are actually even gonna get the notification of that. YouTube's been weird. No one in. No one in still. Well, we'll give it a little bit. Let's see here. And still no one here. That's odd. I mean, even odder than usual. Let's see. Take this down. 1 minute and 11 seconds and no one's here. What's going on here? Some live, there's my live chat. There we go. Somebody just logged in. Who's here? Two people here. Who all's here? Oh, that cuts easy. Tell us sharpening notch on BD1N steel is going to be easy. What is up, David? How come you didn't come to the Anaheim custom show? Or the Las Vegas custom show, David? Or did you go to SHOT? Drop of water on this. Let's see, 4 people here. Who else is here? Live chat. Let's see. Let's see here. So, Puro Daily Carry. What's going on? Nothing much. Puro. Let's see. I couldn't have went if it wasn't for the fact I had a customer pay because he wanted me to go as a proxy. So, what's up, Ben? Your straight razor's in the queue, but I'm not going to be able to sharpen it till tomorrow because when we get done with all this, I'm going to put, Yakov, I'm going to put all the stones in the water to soak for your straight razor. So, everything seems to be going good with the Wi-Fi right now. But like I said, I've never sharpened. He got an ox that he kept for 2,100, 2,200 or something like that. What's up, Jack? So he got that. It was my lottery number, but he wanted it. But me and Nico won every one of the lotteries that Aaron Frederick had. Every one of them. We won every knife. You won't need it till next Wednesday. Shipping's been weird. I have a knife that wound up being sent to the wrong place. I did an intercept, come back to my house, and I still haven't seen it. So God only knows what's going on. The shutdown was not supposed to affect the postal system, but it appears that it has. So, but I only kept one of the knives, David. I only kept the one. So now that we've got that, let's open it up a little bit. We will use this half-round diamond to make it a little bit bigger. Oop, she slipped on me. So, I kept the one Frederick's knife, the big fixed blade. Holy crap, there's 23 of you here. I wasn't expecting that. All right, this is going to irritate the shit out of me. Ooh, she shouldn't slip now. So, Marshall. Let's see. That's about where I want it. So we're gonna see, so this is a Spyderco. We're gonna see, where's my small flat file? We're gonna see if their sharpening is screwy on this one. So well, Ben, I'll do my best. I'll do my best to get it out to you, but like I said, I've got this box of knives came in before yours, and these box of knives came in before his. I just want to do a couple things on this because I want to shoot a video, so I need to get these done too. So it's $2 to make you holler. Puro Daily Carry. What's your actual name? Because all I see is the handle. I can't see that. So I can't see anything else. Let me check and make sure I haven't missed any comments. Jonah. Jonah. Okay. Well, welcome. Hand cutting this sharpening notch in. There we go. Sharpening notch pretty much done. What was that? I just saw somebody said something. I've reached a point where I get so many people that sign in now. I can't. I used to be able to just remember everybody's actual name, but unless it's somebody that I deal with like constantly, I start to forget. Plus, I smoke weed. So, what's in my pocket? The incisor. I am going to carry this just to give it a good, honest review. What's up, sir? All right, so I think we're done with the sharpening notch on this one, just temporarily. $2 more. Yeah, I'll try to get it. I'll try to get it worked in. Like I said, these have been at my house for a week and a half almost, because just everything happening, trying to get stuff ready to go to Vegas and stuff like that. So it's not too bad, but it barely shaves hair. Well, I got news for you. That's gonna change. So let's see. If this BD1 steel cuts as easily as it felt like it did when I was doing, oh wow, okay. This shouldn't be a problem. I might not need my big plate. So this BD1, I think BD1, BD1N, they're nitrogen-based steels. They usually cut pretty easy, hold a pretty good edge, and take a really fine edge because they're a fine grain structure. But, oh wow. Yep, I am gonna have to use the big plate. I didn't want to. I don't like using that plate unless I have to. It takes off more material than I really want to, but, and I don't have my tripod out here right now, so I'm using my pop socket and I'm sitting down, so let's see here. Let's see. My wife is watching ice skating. Yep, it is fine in the middle. Damn it, the tip, heel and the tip are just as bad. Like I said, at least they're consistently inconsistent. That robot, I don't know what the robot's doing, but it's not doing what they want it to, I don't think. Spyderco, what are you doing to me? Yeah, this one's just as bad. Just as bad as at the heel and tip. So it's not a here and there thing. It is definitely a all of them. Well, I mean, it's a good time to get it if you want to get it in the queue. because I had stuff showing up while I was gone, like that box of 5 or 6 knives and stuff like that. We are sharpening a Spyderco, a Spyderco Manix extra large, Spyderco Manix XL, and just same with all of the Spydercos lately, here and here. Just the pocket clip side. Helicopters. BD1. CTS BD1. See, Jim's a polarizing guy, and there's a lot of guys that don't like Jim. And Jim, when I told him, I was like, hey, I want to get a video with you. And he's like, wow, you know, you really want stuff to go toxic in the comments this time? And I was like, look, either people like it or they don't. But here's the deal. I like Jim. I've talked to Jim a lot over the last couple years. And the truth of the matter is, I have no clue. I have no clue what the RHC. So, but we were talking about the fact that, you know, I did that video and there was the comments section got toxic. And he goes, well, you want to risk it again? I was like, I only actually had one person say anything about Jim in that comment section of that video. So, like Jim or don't like him, the fact is, I know Jim, I like him and things like that. He seems like a fun guy. But the thing is, like, people bust on him, and I'm like, look, he's only been making knives for like a couple years now. And he's doing a really good job of it. And he's learning from his mistakes. And he's not the guy to be like, my shit's perfect. No, he's like, nah, my shit has flaws and mistakes. God damn it, Spyderco. Spyderco ceramic stones. I don't use oil on ceramic stones at all. The Spydercos, I do them dry. If you read their literature, yeah, he is. If you read their literature about the, what is shining? At any rate, if you read the literature for those the ceramic stones for Spyderco, they tell you not to use anything. So then what you do is after, when it starts to load a little bit, I mean, you could probably use some water. I wouldn't use oil because you don't know, you know, whether you're going to be able to get it all out. What seems to work the best is like I use soapy water or a little bit of Windex. But if you're going to use anything, I wouldn't use oil because depending on the viscosity of the oil, it might not lift the metal particles like you want it to. And then you've got that oil gets down in and it dries. So I use them dry most of the time. If I'm using a Spyderco ceramic, I use it dry. And then just like they say, I take a green scrubby pad and some Ajax and I just clean them up. And I've never had an issue. So occasionally I'll use a little bit of water, but usually it's just dry. Fuck me. Spyderco makes my life miserable with these. Well, hello, other mic. So check this out. Let me show you. So you can see heel and tip. This one, the heel is pretty much fine, but the tip on this one's really bad. That is not my angles. You guys have seen me do it. That is their machine not doing it like they want it to. I want to cut it. I want to cut it really bad. So, I mean, it's obviously there's a low spot because that edge is symmetrical all the way up till you get to here, and then the tip is symmetrical. And so it's got a low spot here, and a really bad low spot here. So this is going to be one of those I might have to let Al know. I've got to have to charge him extra because I'm having to reprofile the shit out of this before I even start sharpening. So that's the way it's going to work from now on. If I have to do, I can't, I would like to like all you guys and do stuff for you and stuff like that, but I can't continue to do stuff for free. I can't. So if I have to reprofile, I got to charge it. So immediately I know that this is going to be more than he's already paid. So, and then I want to try and get Big Brown Bear in on, either get him to come into town and hang out. It looks like, here, check this out. Let me see if I can get this zoomed in. It looks like chatter. Almost like mill chatter. Can you see it? Look at that. Tip and belly are fine. Tip is married up, but that right there, that's all almost mill chatter. So that is weird. Do you see that? That's odd. It's almost like their belt. Yeah, Spyderco, exactly. Robot Edge. Did you guys see the high point of my YouTube video from the show was when Matt from Reeves Knives was like, well, we need to make a Mike Emler version, a Mike Emler edition. And I was like, I don't even give a fuck what it looks like. What's up, Jason? So that made me kind of happy. Yeah, they've been going that way for a while. It's the ones that I have the problem with are always the ones that say Golden, Colorado. Like, because the ones that were made here, it's very rarely that I run into a lot of problems with the Taiwanese ones. You want to know the truth? The Taiwanese ones are about the best. They really are. It sounds horrible to say, but oh, fuck me. This is going to take a while. I was really hoping that I was not going to run into the issues on this one that I ran into on the other ones. But it has become obvious that this is going to continue to be an issue. I don't know if Sal's just not spending time on the floor. Sage is Taiwanese one, right? Later, David. Let me know if you're going to be at any of the shows anytime soon. And these angles that they're using, these angles they're using are too shallow. I don't know. It's such a long, wide bevel that it's just not. So the last couple Spydercos I had were sharpened like that, really, really thin, and the edge wouldn't hold because the edge was just too thin. I know Vinny Nero would argue with me, like, oh, the thinner the better, but you know what? Some steels you can get away with that. I don't know. Most of the steels that Spyderco uses, you cannot. You can't sharpen every knife the same and expect to get the same result. Every steel is different. BD1 should be fairly fine. It feels as though it's fairly abrasive resistant, though. That angle is inconsistent and uneven. It's shallower on one side than the other, so I'm correcting that as we go. So basically, I'm just taking the entire edge off. And the other thing is, I notice these edges don't hold. I'm wondering if they're running it too fast. You know, if they're using belts, belts wear out. The more a belt is worn, the more friction it's imparting. So the edges don't want to hold. It just feels like they're really soft. It's bad enough I got a cramp in my forearm. Cold steel knives usually are fairly well made. They just have some issues in their QC. That's my big problem. I went through some stuff and I was looking at some of my old cold steels, and they are, that's I'm sharpening now. I don't know. So what was I saying? Oh, my cold steels. There's some issues with stuff being off center, stuff like that. Give me just a second. If you guys see that the screen pauses, I've got to do something. Come on, work with me here. Well, I guess it's not going to do it. So, never mind. Jesus. I think I've almost got it aligned, but it's still off a little bit. That's the problem. When they misgrind it so thin and then it goes up the tip, it gets hard to modify it and change that angle and take off enough material to marry that point to the same angle, and it's always going to look a little off. That's what I was just saying. Their QC is, that's who I was talking about. So most of my cold steels are a little bit off center, and the edges were bad on most of them. But as far as the construction and how well the knife, like, you're not going to beat any of the Spyderco locks. They are always going to be well and above. San Diego. I'm in San Diego, California. As a matter of fact, I'm sweating. Probably should take the sweatshirt off, but it's windy enough that every time I take it off. I have a couple videos about cold steel. Yeah, I have one that is remember when Cold Steel used to make quality knives? And then Pepperidge Farms, remembers, was the name of it. And people mistook the fact they were saying that I was saying Cold Steel doesn't make quality knives, or that I didn't like them. Well, I don't know. Then I really don't know, Sam. This is BD1, and I think the other one, I don't know what steel it's in, but I'm going to compare edges. I probably should do a quick before and after on it, and in mid-range, and then put it up. So you guys might see that on my Instagram. Yeah, that is bad. And it's a nice knife. I like the Mantix design. I just always thought it was too small. I did not realize there was an XL version. But I mean, look how much time I'm spending on this. Hey, Chris, I sharpened 2 of the... I had to put them away. I sharpened 2 of the half-face blades. They're nightmares. They really are. The edge on them is really, really wavy. Had to account for some stuff. I stopped because I remembered that I had to get these done. So I forgot that these came in before yours. So I'm gonna... I'll get with you and let you know. I wrote some stuff down about how much additional time. So basically, I started sharpening your knives. What time is it now? It is 1:30. I started sharpening your knives at 10, and by noon, I had not gotten the second one done. And I was like, I got to take those off for a minute, because I'm gonna have to figure out what extra, because I had to reprofile both of those. They were horrible. That one little thin one with the red, white, and blue handle, not really a problem. It's already done. So I technically did 3 of your knives. So there's 2 more in there. But I don't want to get to fucking around with that karambit that you sent me until I see if it's even going to be something that I don't want to start something and then not be able to finish it. I got to see if those stones that I've got, the recurves, I got to see if they're even going to work. Or I'm going to maybe have to figure something else out for you. But I don't want to charge you for something that I can't do, or charge you extra for something until I see if I can even do it. So, and that might be one of those deals where I have to say, you know, I'm going to have to work on these in my free time when I'm not, you know, rushing to get stuff done, and just take my time to do it so I don't have to charge you like an arm and a leg. So like I said, I got to charge for that, but I also know that I don't want to, I don't know if I can break you guys' fucking wallets completely. Just a little. Man, I think I almost got it. Guys, look at how much material I'm having to take off on this knife. I should not have to. take that much material off to get the angle correct. It should not. I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking. That angle is completely off. I wish I had taken a picture of it. I wish I'd looked at it first and seen, because it's horrible. I want to get some of their S35BN. Their XHP was always really good, even though I didn't like XHP. It depends on the knife when you're talking about a hinderer. Different hinderers, you know. Hinderers are usually come pretty sharp. I was at the hinderer table at the show. Rick wasn't there. He had some people from his factory that were there, but I was talking to him and I was looking at the Slippy. Their little slip joint one. I have a customer in Ireland and I told him I would look and just see if, you know, any of the shows. I got in touch with him and he's like, he didn't have money at this point in time, this current juncture. I do not like the edge that XHP takes. It feels gritty. The way some people heat treat it. My cold steel XHPs that I've sharpened seem to be pretty good. And hey, what's up, Zach? So I met Zach at the show, and that's when he realized that I was not joking. I truly am a fucking giant. I'm not a little guy. Yeah, Cold Steel's heat treat is awesome. They do a really good job. I've had a couple other knives in XHP that came out really nice. I do not like Spyderco's XHP. I had a native in XHP. It was a sprint run that they did on, I think, Blade HQ or Knife Center. I don't remember which. And I was never happy with the edge on it. So depending on your heat treat, the edge will feel really gritty. So wouldn't surprise me. I've gotten some information about insider stuff on Spyderco and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's just stuff that I picked up from knife shows and stuff. See, I'm going to do the affiliate link thing for Mass-Drop, because I went through and figured out all the emails and texts and things. I got, there was like 220 people that bought the Gent because I did a video on it. And I never tracked how many people bought the Buck, how many people bought any of the other ones I did videos on. So D2 is another one of those ones that depends on how it's done. You know whose D2 is really good? Benchmade's D2 is about the best for the production guys stuff. So the gentleman that makes these stones, I was on the phone with him this morning, and we're working on something. We've got an idea for something, and we're going to try and work it out and design something to make this a little easier. And then it would be something that I would recommend, you know, I could recommend and have an affiliate link on that too. The Gent is just about a perfect entry-level knife for most people that are just getting into knives. And then they realize that, hey, and it's also a good knife for guys like me that are used to having to pay, you know, $400 or $500 to get what you're looking for in a knife. And then you come to the realization that you're like, holy crap, this is $100 for the entry models. So, but this seems like it's wanting to, you know, the other knife that Spyderco makes that always I have to fix? The Spidey Chef. The grind on a Spidey Chef, for some reason, is always screwed up. Once you get them sharp, they're crazy. But let's see if I've got this down now. It's bright enough and hot enough here. I actually had to go in the house to get socks. So you guys pick on me because I wear sandals and socks. My wife is Japanese. We don't wear our shoes in the house. So I take my shoes off in and out. So it means I wear sandals out here. Well, a lot of times I'm wearing socks because the sun comes in at an angle. I don't know if you've ever sunburned the tops of your feet. It sucks. And so I put on socks so that I don't sunburn my feet while I'm wearing sandals out here in the yard. Plus, it's comfortable. Oh, I like it. I like it. I wouldn't buy one because it's so much like my spinner, the Fair & Forge Collab spinner. But it's a very nice knife and it's super attractive. And Nico and Matt each bought one, and I've played with them both, so. Can say anything good about S35VN. What was that? Can I? I just don't get that steel Sbenza again. Okay. So here's the thing with S35VN. If you get a knife from WE knives in S35VN, it's awesome. You get one from React. It's fucking, their S35VN is great. Reeves Knives runs their S35VN a little soft because it's easier to sharpen. So I don't have a problem sharpening it. I sharpen a lot of things that are much, much, much harder up the Rockwell and much more wear resistant. But I can see that you would want something that was a lot easier to sharpen. Now, that's the only issue I see. Reeves S35VN is a little soft compared to some other things. It is a good steel. If it's done well, this is an S35VN. Oh, ooh. Wait, which one is that? Because I'm thinking HCR 13 MOV. It is crappy. My mother, I talked to my mother and sister, and they said that it was really cold and they didn't have gas last night. And I called yesterday, I called the gas company. I was like, look, here's the deal. This is what I'll do. If you don't figure out what's going on with the gas up at my mother's house, I'm gonna make a YouTube video about the fact that you don't give a crap about a 70-year-old woman that has the flu and pneumonia and is sitting in a house without heat. And I will take that said video and I will release it to a local news affiliate, network affiliate, because I know somebody that works there. And lo and behold, somebody showed up and was addressing the gas issue at my parents' house. I was like, you know, you... So, the thing is, she was like, well, we can't help it. You need to talk to your neighbors and tell them that they need to use less gas. And I'm like, wait, lady. Here's the thing. Our gas comes off the wellhead because the gas well that feeds our house. In touch with who to buy a Fair & Forge Fortis in 20 CV? There are none. I mean, you could probably get a hold of my buddy Nico, but they quit making that knife 2-3 years ago. So if you want one in 20 CV, you got to get one of the originals because the new ones are in S35VN, the 2.0s. So unless you can find somebody that's willing to sell one, because they only made 200 ever before the production model came out, unless you can find somebody that's willing to sell theirs, you're, well, I hate to say it, you're beat. So there are none left. You can't have mine either. So I would like to truly optimize form with a heat treat. That's the thing. See, that 20 CV that's in a Fortis is not the in-house heat treat. Those were heat treated production-wise. They were done at a facility, not at Elliott's shop, because those blades were double disc ground at Larkin, and Larkin cannot double disc grind anything that has Elliott's heat treat. So I don't know. They may. Medfords are built real well. They're just I did it. I talked about Medford knives in the video at Blade Show West. Can't complain about construction, things like that. Just Medford's attitude towards people that sharpen their own knives and take their knives apart to clean them and stuff like that. He's kind of opinionated. He's a good guy, don't get me wrong, but he just gets wound up about stuff. So, but the Medfords are well-built knives. They're just not a knife I would carry. Nope, I have not. So, Sam, I don't know if you've watched my YouTube videos before. I don't follow the knife community in general. I don't look for what's coming. I don't look at new production models. I don't look at what's coming out prototype-wise. None of that. Because I spend enough time doing knife stuff that if I'm looking for something, I watch... I'll look it up if I really am curious, but I don't watch like other knife channels and stuff like that. I watch like Cody's Lab and Nile Red chemistry stuff and look up metallurgy. But my most carried knife, like of all time, yeah, XL. Like my most carried knife of all time, I would have to say is that little that little Camelus silver sword my dad got me. It went to 16% of the countries in the world. So it's been all over the place. I carried it in my pocket for years and years and years and years. And it's on my bedside stand, so I know where it's at all times because I want to know where my favorite knife is. That's the one my dad gave me when I was 5, I think. It's still uneven. My main full-size DCD or EDC, I don't know. It's probably the one that I carry the most usually. Because you're talking full size. Well, this is full size. This knife is full size. This knife is full size. If this knife happens to be smaller, but it's still full sized. That's the full size. There is no, like, there's no full size for EDC. That's, like, you can say you've got a full, like, size-wise, like a 4-inch blade or something like that, but there's no, like, set size for EDC. And that's... Yeah, my Sabenza gets pocket time. As a matter of fact, my Sabenza cut up, I used to cut up some pork loin here not too long ago. So I had to go back down to the 250 because that tip is still misaligned. And so I've got to do a little bit more work just at the tip, just for a second. You know what I'm saying. Fuck me. I do. So right now what's in my pocket is a karambit that I'm trying to get a good feel for because I'm going to do a video. I picked this up at the show. It was given to me. I did get drunk. I did get drunk in my Sabenza review, didn't I? So, but yeah, it's Spyderco's having some issues here. This is more work than I should have had to put into a knife that's like that, like a hand ground knife. Like if this was all hand ground and done, yeah, I could understand some inconsistencies, but when you go online and tell everybody how good your robot edges are and how consistent, because it's a controlled thing. Well, by God, they should be consistent. That irritates the shit out of me. And not because I see it doesn't bother me, because I can fix it. But the thing is, a lot of you guys just don't have the stuff to do the things required to get it where you want. Just stop, say hi. Hey, what's up? How do I feel about hawkbill knives? I'm not big on them. That's why this is getting a, this is getting some pocket time. But the thing is, this is not an EDC. This is not something you're gonna use for a lot of use because it's so hard to sharpen. This is something you're gonna carry in a shitty neighborhood, and I'm not gonna lie to you, it would do the job. It's, and this has a flipper tab and a wave-esque, here, I'll show you. This thing comes out of the pocket like lightning. So you put it in your pocket, let me see here. Yeah, you're not gonna be able to see it real well, but it comes out like that. It is that quick. But it's not as deep, it doesn't catch as hard, it's not as intrusive, and I can take that off as, say, a true Emerson that's cut in, Emerson wave that's cut into it. Well, one of the knives that I carry the most is a Benchmade. So, that Benchmade 940, so, yeah, they're consistently flawed. So... we're back up to 650 again, so that's the problem. You don't see spots in the blade that are not losing their scratch pattern until you get up to a higher grit, and that's a problem. So a lot of times when they're bad like this, I gotta go up and then step back down, and then go up and down and up and down. So I'm at the 650, and I see a spot where there's a good chance I might have to go back down to the 250 again. We'll see. We'll see how it comes out when I go up one more stone. But yeah, these production knives are there's aspects of them they're getting better. Like production knives are getting better. You're getting more quality steels. You're getting better action. You're getting all these. But then this part right here is where it gets worse, and then I have to. Can all knives be centered would just work, or is there something? I mean, you can get them close. You're talking like the grind, to align that grind. You can, and yes and no. It depends. Like this one's going to be hard. Because I would need to steepen this angle, take all the material. Basically, I would have to do what I really want to do, I would need to just grind that edge completely off and start fresh. But then you lose a good chunk of your blade. So you're going to lose a lot of material. So I have to come as close as I can. So, I mean, I've been working with this for 42 minutes. I usually could get a couple knives. If it's not bad, I can get 2 knives done. I will say that Sebenzas usually don't take very long to sharpen. Was that Dwayne? Hey, it is Dwayne. It's... Some aspects of production knives have gotten better. There are some companies that are doing a great job, but then you have companies that have been around for a while, Spyderco, Benchmade, and they keep upping their prices, but down in their quality. I'm not digging it. It's not fair to the consumer. And then you get these guys, well, their edges are fine. Yeah, if you know, if you're the kind of guy that's never going to sharpen your own knives, if you're just the kind of guy that will just carry a knife until it's dull and then throw it away, then yes, that edge is probably fine. But when you're up in the price on your knives, but the quality is going down, like off-center grinds, off-center blades, you know, it's not fair to the consumer. And this is, still a nightmare. This is still way off. I just got to go back. I got to start all over again. I have to start all the way back at 50. Fuck me. I'm going to have to take off way more material on this than I wanted to. And I'm just going to have to point Al in the direction of this video and tell him, hey, look, bro, I'm sorry. There's nothing else I could do. I'm glad, because that thing's a pain in the dick. to steepen this one up a little bit to marry the two together. I'm just going to have to keep taking off material. I've taken a good bit of material off of this knife. And I shouldn't have had to. Yeah, here's the thing. It's going to get to a point where I get upset enough that this video is not going to be something I can leave up, because I'm going to get upset that I have spent this much time on this knife. This always happens when you see BD1. When you see that edge being that off, when you start sharpening, you can see that it's so much wider. You're going to have to play the game of getting it back and forth and just taking off material. You guys got to give me a second. I'm sweating. BD1. Fuck me. This has nothing to do with the steel. This has 100% to do with the way they're sharpening it. I thought so too, because a lot of the nitrogen-based steels, but I didn't realize this was not BD1N. Most of the nitrogen-based steels are... Bye. Have fun. What time are you going to be home? Only 1 hour? Okay. My wife's getting ready to take my daughter ice skating, so... That's straighter than it was. That's about as straight as it's going to get. I don't feel comfortable taking off more material, because the thing is, the actual edge itself is straight, and it's not going to be off center. It's just the way the original grind was. I have modified it. It just goes back further than I want it to. Jeez. 48 minutes and I'm back on the first stone again. It's about as good as it's going to get, I think. Might be able to bring that tip down just a hair on that side. Dwayne, give me a call sooner or later. I got to get with you about your knife. These, I think Al wanted just to go to 8,000. Say, what was that? Hey, Mike, what's a good finish polished stone on the cheap? It just depends on what you're looking for. BD1 should take a mirror polish, even though if I'm not going to take it super fine. There we go. That's lined up now. I think I've aligned the edge now. I don't want to spend too much time on this stone, because this stone takes off a lot of material. Almost as much material as the diamond plate. So now that we've got the edge aligned, we're not going to spend as much time on that. It's just been fucking bad trying to get shit aligned. Back on to 250. Nice thing is these stones cut really fast, so once you get past your original alignment, all you're doing is just removing scratch material or scratch pattern. It's a lot easier. So let me see. It looks better than it did. There's still spots where you can see the under area where I showed you all that chatter. They're so deep, I'm not going to be able to get them out. Like, I would have to take off so much material to get those out. You can still see remnants of them. And I'm like, that's unacceptable. That coarseness of that grind like that, that was completely unacceptable. And I thought it felt weird when it hit the stone. So this may be one where I got to go in and get the whiskey. I think I've sharpened 10 knives today. And then started on Chris's and realized I had neglected to get these ones done because they came in from a customer before him. So head out. All right, Ben. Apparently I have a guy that sent me a, not right now. I'm too busy to do it. I've got to get this stuff done. The edge, I already did. So if you were to go back and watch, I did a close-up earlier. So your best bet is to find this after it posts up and go back to the beginning when I first started working on it. So I'm currently trying to get this edge convexed the way I want it. So I talked to the maker of these stones this morning. So you guys know, I think he said the 4,000 grit's already out in these matrix diamond stones for Edge Pro. If I remember correctly, he said that they are out. He was working on fulfilling orders this morning. So this is definitely a nightmare. There we go. I have thinned that edge back to what it should have been, to an angle that makes fucking sense. Now, I understand Spyderco has their Edge Pro sharpening system. All you're doing is just doing a micro bevel every time. But that edge should not have been that shallow. It should not have been that narrow. It was just going to cause problems. So that's pretty consistent, pretty even. It's good. It's going to be as good as I can get it. Freehand. It's still fucking wrong, though. The problem is it's an optical illusion because some of that bad grinding that was back behind that I showed you earlier in the video where it looked like mill chatter it's showing, and it reflects, and it looks like it's canted over further than it actually is. I mean, it's still canted over a little, but the edge itself is consistent and even. So let's see, have I got this shoulder knocked clear off of this like I want? Nope. Nope. And you go back down. You go back down to the 300. This fucking thing is that bad, guys. There's spots where you just can't, like, you look at it and you're like, fuck me, is it really that bad? And because as you go down in the grit, or go up in the grit, the marriage of that stone, because the grit isn't as big, so that surface areas, okay, so there's little dips and waves in that edge, and when the grit is really big like this, they get up in those dips and grooves, but when it's tighter, and then it's like that, it skips over areas like can't get my fingers to do what I want, like that. And so then you go down and you go up in grit, and then you see a spot that's completely not even touching the stone still. And that means that you have to go back down, but you don't see it. You don't see it at the 250 grit, but you see it as a 6. So instead of going back down to the 250, you got to go all the way back down to the really coarse shit. So there's no reason for this other than they're just not. Okay, I'll lay it out for you. The only reason for it is because they don't give a fuck about you. That's the main thing, is they do not care. And as much as they like to play that, like, well, we listen to the customers, like they said in the videos. Oh, we know this and that. Only when it pertains to their revenue do they give a fuck about you. Like, oh, people are complaining because it takes us fucking 8-10 months to actually release a knife we talked about. So we'll just do our new product launch release every quarter. Okay, well, that's cool. But if the edges are like this, the average person is going to get that knife and then they'll start sharpening. And then they're like, what the fuck is this? What the hell? Oh, it's still Spyderco with these grinds. These edge grinds that I've been working on the same knife for 56 minutes and have had to take off a significant amount of material just to get the edge correct and even and take out the wavy areas on the blade. And here's the thing, they can get upset and throw fits in their video that I'm putting stuff out like this in videos, but the fact is, I've got video backing up showing that this edge is fucked. And every time I get it aligned, then I find another spot. Yes, I did. It got taken down. That video got taken down. I think we got it. Well, let's go ahead and go up. And my 650, or 250, I mean. I'm not saying that these are not quality knives. I don't want you guys to mistake me and think I'm saying Spyderco knives are shit. They are not bad knives. They're very well-made knives. It's just that they allow certain inconsistencies and things to leave the shop. Just like I said with cold steel. I've owned more cold steel knives than any other company. But I mean, it doesn't bother me. I can take care of that issue. But for the average Joe, once you realize it's that bad, you're going to have to get a hold of somebody like me, because the likelihood is you're not going to be able to fix it. Because I got news for you. You cannot reprofile something on a fucking sharp maker. You can't really reprofile something on Edge Pro or KME. I know they have stones for it, but for fuck's sake, it takes forever. So I think we're back. I think we're good. I think we finally, I think that burr is, Emerson's been shitty. Emerson's been shitty lately? Emerson's been shitty as long as I can remember. Hey, what's up, David? I was just talking about you. Forgot to mention, I am making 4Ks this weekend. I'll have you one to finish set. Okay, cool. And that's what I was just telling him. I was like, I think that the 4K, if they're not already out, they will be soon. But did you say you were going to send, David, did you send you were going to send me the actual aluminum oxide that I need to flatten these stones? Because I did use the standard Spyderco, and I think you're right. It's too fine. It's too fine to get where I need to go on some of them. This is... So, you guys, that's David Scott. That's the guy that makes these stones. And so... he would be the guy that would know. I'll tell you what, this is pretty abrasive resistant. I'm not gonna lie to you. Let's see. Okay. That's cool. Yeah, there we go. All right. Now let's go to the 650. This is making, I will say that BD1 is shining that stone, like it's loading it. I'm gonna have to, I've got a stone here that I use for just lifting the steel out of it. I also have, I've used a couple other things, a greeny weenie with a little bit of aluminum, or a little bit of Ajax powdered cleaner will work, but this does seem to be making a little bit of a shiny, like it's slicking the stone, even with the soap in the water. This is bad, guys. I think this is about as bad as it's ever been with any of these. Your softer steels have a tendency to load stuff, and I'm actually going to, and that's why I keep the chromium or the aluminum oxides around, is because they don't load as easily as something like this doesn't break. And it's not that they don't load, it's the way the stone breaks down while you're using it. But I am using on the 1000 that David makes, and we'll see how things look after quick pass on this. It sounds like I got most of the scratch pattern, and I do. So let's see here. So Jack, if you're still on here, yeah, I think I'm gonna finish this. I'll finish this on a couple of the other stones. Let me actually throw that 1000 grit in, because it is, I'm afraid I'm gonna wind up having to, yes. And the gentleman that was just talking, David Scott, is the man that makes these stones. Let me use this. Yeah, I think from now on, I think BD1's going to be an aluminum oxide stone. Oh, I was going to tell you thank you for the super chat, Cash. Appreciate it. Yeah, I think this is doing a better job on the BD1 steel. It's softer and it's not loading. It's harder to load these aluminum oxides because the stone itself breaks down. Those ones that David makes, I'm not gonna lie to you, those things would last forever. Don't know. I don't have a 15,000. My highest stone is 12. That's not true. I have a 14 that was a gift from my father-in-law, but it's 14 or 15, I can't remember. I don't use it except for my straight razors and customer straight razors. So hey, Chris Kelly, if you're still on here, I'm not gonna lie to you, that half-face blade with the fucking stag handle, that stag handle stinks when it gets wet. Yeah. Yep, that's just a little bit better of a finish on this steel. So now let's just do it on the 23 just to get a polish on it. Just can't push very hard. That's the key thing too, guys. If you're sharpening and you're pushing, you're just wearing out. You're wearing yourself out and you're wearing out your stones. People are like, oh, how do you, I bet your hands and stuff are so tired. And like, I've sharpened like, I think I've sharpened like 10 knives. Between 8 and 10, somewhere in there. My hands aren't tired. You know why? Because I'm not using any pressure. If you use pressure on your stones, The only thing you're doing is wearing your stones out. The abrasive doesn't cut any better when you push harder. You're just wearing out your stone, and you're wearing out your muscles, because it does not cut any better when you push harder. I will say that's sharp. That is really sharp. That is like, well, it's crazy sharp. Yeah, there's still areas on this that are just bad, and they're gonna be. I'll touch them up on the. So, yeah, that's. I hate to do this, but I'm gonna have to get hold out. That's 66 minutes to get that knife up to. Now let's see how it cuts. So I'm just curious. So Owl's getting kind of a freebie a little bit. I'm just curious what BD, because like I said, never sharpened it before. I'm curious what it does on my 10,000 grit Chaucera. And it's doing the same thing it was doing on the diamond stones. It's just slicking it up, and it's getting shiny. Do you see it? It's just getting shiny. That's all it's doing. It's not really making a slurry. It's not really cutting. It's just getting shiny. So we will probably go back down just to make sure we've established a good micro serrations that aren't burnished and rounded over. We'll go back down to a harder stone, back down to that 23. Is it an actual Emerson, or is it an Emerson design? Because I'm not gonna lie, the Emerson designs that I see coming out of ZT, they're not bad. But they're also not an actual, yeah, that's not sharp anymore. I gotta go back down to the 23. It lost its bite. It's not crisp at the edge. Because Emerson designs and Emerson knives are two different animals. Like I said, I don't mind the ZT Emersons. The ZT designed Emersons. Same with Hinderers. I'm not a big fan of Hinderers. Now, I mean, they are better now. So it's just all a matter of, you know, I know there's a lot of people who love Emersons. I'm like, hey, it's good for you. I don't like them. Done with that fucking now. That thing's pissing me off. I found a spot again where I have to go back and drop back down. So now there's a spot up near the tip that I have to drop back down because that area that's chattered, there's still areas where the scratch pattern's staying. 66 minutes. 66 minutes on a knife that should not be that fucking bad because they use a robot. Guys, I gotta go. This is gonna be ugly. I will, Jesus Christ. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say except, you know what? I would not recommend a Spyderco to a single person anymore. I like the designs. I like some of their knives. I've had a ton of Enduras. You're not going to hear me recommending Spyderco to anybody. Not after this. The last 4 I've sharpened have taken this long. The last 2, or the last 3 of those 4 have taken more than an hour. And I'm not doing it for free anymore. At first I thought maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe it's just my technique. I don't know. Maybe I'm just slowing down. No, this is ridiculous. It didn't take me that long to sharpen 2 of those fucking half face blades. I mean, it took a long time. Well, no, it did take me about an hour each, but they were big, thick, fucked up fixed blades that are hand ground and hand sharpened. I don't mean fucked up, but ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Some of the shittiest quality control I've seen in a big name company. It's worse than any cold steel I ever had that I used to complain about. Fuck me. Ridiculous. You know who doesn't fuck their edge grinds up? Anything that has that mark on it. The Wee mark, some of the best edges around. And I'm like, it's not because they're making my knife. The reason that they're making my knife is because I was like, the quality's there and it's cheaper. I looked at other companies to make my knife stateside and I'm like, that's ridiculous. They wanted me to pay for prototyping. They wanted me to pay them for a design that I was giving them. It's like, well, you got to pay all the upfront and development stuff, and then we'll sell it, and then you get a portion. I'm like,